My love of eggs is still alive and well, and so I'm still on the kick. One thing I have been dying to have for months are Turkish eggs. But the problem is I don't like Greek yogurt. So I did a lot of looking around and asking some people their opinions, and I have come up with what I think is the perfect alternative for this dish. It also has some other liberties with it, like spices and stuff, so really, I'm sorry if this is very sacrilegious, but this is my interpretation of Turkish eggs. Let's get started. Starting off with my yogurt mixture. Instead of the Greek yogurt, which is pretty traditional, or there is some sort of Turkish yogurt you can use, but I believe that's very hard to find, I am using good old cream cheese. I was very lucky to find this at the store since, you know, there's no cream cheese anywhere to be found. In it goes. You want this to be room temperature or even a little warmed up. I'm going to actually pop it in the microwave just for a few seconds to loosen it, and the thing I find that might help a little bit with that is I'm going to add just a couple tablespoons of whole milk ricotta cheese. And if you find that after you warm this up and it's still too thick for you, you can probably thin it out with maybe a little bit of heavy cream or milk, but not too much. You don't want this very soupy or loose. I've warmed this up a little bit. You can see it's much looser now, much more easy to handle. I'm just gonna get this all mixed together. Next goes my garlic. I'm going to grate this garlic in here. You definitely want to get it as fine as possible because it's staying raw. This garlic will be very pungent. I'm not going to do all of it since this is kind of a bigger clove. I'll use the rest of this on my toast. Give this a mix around, some salt and pepper to taste. Our yogurt is all set. I'm gonna put this to the side. Next is some bread. I'm going to toast up some bread in the pan, so I'm just gonna lob a few slices off of this. This is some good sourdough bread. Toasted bread. Taking that extra piece of garlic, just rubbing it on there. Delicious way to get some good flavor into your bread without having to cake too much on. It's just gonna be kissed by garlic, which is funny because usually you don't want to be kissed by garlic anything, but in this case you do. The next component to this dish is the butter. I've got a little skillet here on like a medium low heat, just a couple tablespoons of butter. Let this melt down. Once my butter has melted, I'm going to start adding some spices. This is where I'm also kind of just marching to the beat of my own drummer. I'm gonna put a little bit of red pepper flake in here, some sumac for some color and flavor. Give this a swirl. Another kind of funny thing, everything but the bagel seasoning. I told you that this was not traditional and I wasn't lying. I'm gonna swirl this around just for a second, and then I'm gonna take it off the heat and let it sit while I get the rest of the stuff ready, just so that butter continues to infuse with all of those spices. The last components to this dish are the eggs. I soft boiled a couple of eggs. These are 6.5 minute eggs, very jammy, just done. Of course, you can poach your eggs, you could fry your eggs. I think whatever you do or however you cook your eggs, you just want them to be nice and jammy or nice runny yolk, because that also kind of mixes in with the sauce and it's just perfect. Oh yes. Now I can assemble. First goes my cream cheese and ricotta mixture. Give this a nice swirl. You want it to have little peaks and valleys so that all of the yolk and the butter can kind of swoop in here. You just want it all to collect. Then I'm going to plant my eggs down in here. I'll just put 3 on here. Then comes my butter. Just give that a good swirl around. A little more dusting of the sumac for some color. I want some green on here, so chives it is. A little bit of some flaky salt, and there you have my version of Turkish eggs. It's slightly darker because of the butter and the spices that I used. Usually the butter is more of a red color because of the chili in there. It's so delicious. You can feel free to play around with all the flavors as you like, but this is it. Now for chowing down on this thing, you kind of just go for it. I'm gonna get some of the cream, some of that egg, with that yolk. Oh my goodness, so runny. Ooh, I'm drooling just thinking about it. How is that for a gorgeous, gorgeous bite? It's so good. It's so creamy. Those spices are just like over the edge. This is a fun new breakfast, or in my case tonight, dinner. And you can play around with this however you want to. Different spices, you can use the yogurt if you want to. Just like whatever you want to do it. This is your food. You make it how you want it. You should definitely make this though, because it's delicious. Why not? Enjoy.